Hi everyone. Happy Lenten season. I think I'm not really so sure. What do you call that? I was born and raised as a Catholic, but I didn't really keep it at heart. Not because I hate God, but because maybe how the religion was introduced to me. Yeah, it's like I was forced to go to church, and then and I went to these private Catholic schools where they would like lock you up, not lock me up, but the whole class so that we could attend the Mama Mary's birthday, Jesus' birthday, everyone's birthday. And it was kind of traumatizing. But for those who celebrated, I respect you guys. Just I don't know how it goes today, but today there are really interesting things in my country, especially in my hometown. So there are some people who would crucify themselves and reenact the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. If you remember that, I think it's gonna be on Sunday. I don't know, Friday tomorrow. So what are the cultures in the Philippines? They won't eat meat. So from Friday 3 p.m. until Sunday when Jesus is awake, according to the Bible, um, they're not gonna eat. So yeah. Anyway, why did I make this video? Because I have time. Finally, yeah, I'm happy to have time and oh my god, I'm so fat. But anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah. So, what's our topic for today? Actually, our topic for today is a topic that has been raised a couple of months ago, back when I was on in hiatus or something. But our topic for today is why do Filipinos like Koreans better than Western people? Now, if we're gonna think about it, let's think about it logically, because if we're gonna go emotionally, that's kind of invalid because um in my observation, let's say when Spain colonized the Philippines, a lot of Filipinas, they want to marry, mestizos. These are people who belong to the upper class, or they were Spanish descent. So yeah, and then Americans colonized us, and then a lot of Filipinos, they wanted to marry Americans, and then at the same time we had a lot of Filipino American, and some Philams that were neglected and left after, even now there are still some, right? Not only Americans. And then next wave, Japan opened its doors for entertainers during the bubble economy. And a lot of Filipinos went to Japan, and a lot of Filipinos wanted to marry Japanese. Yeah, maybe it's economic, and at the same time, opportunity wise, or something like that. And then Japanese economy kind of slowed down. And then next, Korea. So Korea's economy started to grow. So I won't be surprised because now Korea's economy is starting to mature. Once an economy is mature, I think instead of going up, they would just spread out. So yeah, I'm getting better with that. But anyway, it's the next one now. The next step, maybe Chinese. Chinese would start coming to Philippines, although they have been our trade partners for a couple of years. But anyway, why? Well, first of all, let's think about it geographically. Well, geography wise, Korea is so near. So that's one thing, 4 hours, and it's so cheap. Like, from Korea to Philippines, like tickets are so cheap. Like, especially LTC flights, and think about if they have mileage, right? And they can spend their extra money on other things. Like instead of, spending, for example, me, let's say I'm flying to the Philippines, right? And I have to use Manila and then my taxi to Clark. That 2,500 or 5,000 or 3,000 peso, instead of using it for transportation, I can use it to go to Angeles Flying Club and fly a plane. So it's something like that. They have extra money to spend because flight itself, hotel itself is cheap. Now, second, number two, a lot of Koreans are coming to the Philippines to study English, play golf, do business. and mhm, maybe leave their country and start a family. So they just go around there, right? Um, and I think because of this, they would build Korean towns and so on. So it's also a big factor why Filipinos got to know Koreans more. And then third, culture. Culturally, yeah, Eastern and Southern Asia, they're really different. I know that experience because I'm in Japan. I think, sorry for Koreans if you're angry with Japan, but Koreans and Japan have this similarity. Let's say they're hardworking, they value quality over quantity, and so on. So in that situation, South and East, even if there is this gap, they still have a similar culture. For example, we tend to help our families, although Japanese are going out of there. And then um, they are good with lip service. I'm sorry. And then mm, they're actually kind of sweet. I've had Korean students and I've met several Korean men as well as friends, and they're wonderful people. Although some of them are really rude. I mean, especially those people who are, I think they have this prejudice against Filipinos, and then some would get Filipinos pregnant and leave, and then some would just like say treat Filipinos badly, like they won't pay them equally, not only in the Philippines but also in Korea, because I met some Filipinos living in Korea and that's what they experience. Anyway, next one. K-pop. K-pop is a big factor. They create this fantasy not only in the Philippines but also in Japan. I have this cousin who thinks that I go to Korea because I love K-pop. No, I go to Korea because it's cheaper than going to the Philippines. Ticket wise, shopping wise, food wise, hotel wise, and I don't have to buy souvenirs for my family if I go to Korea. So that's a big savings. And yeah, uh, I think there's this Korean wave that we call where a lot of people love these new Korean bands, Korean actors, actresses, and then on TV they would be creating this fantasy that Koreans are romantic, which they are, but I don't know after marriage. Better ask people that you know. And so there's this fantasy, but I think it's not only a fantasy, it's actually a part of their culture. Like they're kind of polite to women. When I went to Korea, I kind of had a great time. I always had a great time there and yeah, shopping. Next one. So, okay, not only multimedia, and then next one. They can integrate with Filipinos. Sometimes they try to learn Tagalog a lot, actually. So that creates a deeper connection, maybe, or sometimes it creates business opportunities. But regardless, there's this cultural connection. And then now, if you're talking about girls, it's not only those things, but also not only that fantasy. If you're talking about bar girls, I think I heard before from my friend she was told to cut her bangs because there are many Koreans coming. So they could get and earn more money because they're really a lot right now. I remember my flight from Philippines and then I was gonna transit at Busan. There were only four women, me included. So three were Korean and one other Filipino. Five, okay. Not including the flight attendants though. So I think it's the business market. If there's a supply, there's a demand, and so on. Now, do Filipinas feel like they can have a security, a future or something with Koreans? I think they can think about it short term. I don't think these people. Most of them are students. Some of them have families. I mean, back in Korea, and some of them they are like they are not stable yet. So yeah, so a lot of Filipinas become mistresses and they're okay with it because they get money. And second, some of them, they, as I've said, they have this fantasy, and some of them are really in love and they get a good relationship. So I couldn't maybe majority of them are in the Philippines for leisure, for learning English and for business. Love is a small percentage, and it's a smaller percentage that it works. Because if it really works well, we wouldn't have a lot of kopino lingering around. Actually, they had lots of documentaries about those in Tagalog, of course, although I think there are also some in English. Please kindly check them. And yeah, but if the relationship works, it's really smooth. I've seen happy couples, but I've also seen sad ones wherein, like they were happy back in the Philippines, but when they went to Korea, the guy was kind of embarrassed to walk along with the Filipina. So, or maybe his parents doesn't want the girl because I think of Koreans are very familial. I mean, they're really connected with their family, so something like that. But nevertheless, if it's love or not, I think let's hope it's love. If for Filipinos, if it's like they like it, I mean they prefer it or not, I cannot really say that. But with the supply and demand and how things are going in the Philippines, you know, the saying like the more you see them, the more fonder you feel, or is it the other way around? But anyway, it's something like that. Regardless, I think a lot of Koreans are good people. Some they disobey taxes. They don't pay taxes properly, but some they're okay. So I cannot say they are more preferred. But if we're gonna think about it, you know, media, geographically, and so on, it's all there. Now, perhaps but most of these people are kind of old, like around 30, 40, 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s or something, or upper, I don't know. Perhaps because I call them like the new economy. So if they're like these new economy, you know, they they stop going to the Philippines. I'm not sure if the younger generation would see Philippines as a good place to stay, although some of them are already staying there for business purposes only. And marrying a Filipina would actually save them a lot of taxes. And at the same time, it can also be, it's a win-win situation, so I couldn't say. But yeah, I think as of now, Filipinas like Koreans, and it's gonna stay perhaps if you know Koreans are gonna be there. Plus, they create this like Chinatown, Korean town, and so on. Plus, Korean food is yummy, so there's a similarity with food culturally. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but the what? But it doesn't mean that they don't like Americans. So don't worry about that. It's just that they're there. I'm pretty sure if it's, for example, US based, or let's say Western people were coming to the Philippines more often like they do in Thailand, perhaps it's the other way around, right? And I couldn't really say which, race or nationality is better, but of course there is some prejudice. So anyway, that's it. I hope you guys learn, and I'll be in the Philippines soon. Hey. Sorry. I'm quite excited, but scared because my mom will say, Mira, you look like a pig. It's a Filipino thing. Filipino Asian love. Anyway, see you guys and have a nice week.